In this short video tutorial, I will show you how to deal with stretched and misbehaved stitches. Sometimes we crochet, and when we use a fine hook and fine thread, I always recommend to please use your magnifying glasses or magnifying glass to see better, because it is actually very difficult to crochet with fine thread and fine hook. This flower was made with thread number 100. It's really the finest thread available in DMC Cordonette, for example. So I understand why some stitches here are stretched. So here we have this right here stitch. You can see it, right? Loose, right here, and another one right here. So I'll show you how to easy pull them out on the other side of your work and secure them there, so that you will not have any problems. At first, you will have to thread needle with the same thread, and on the back weave this thread inside the area where you crocheted over the packing cord. It is probably the best place to weave in, and even my needle is so fine, I still need help to move it through the stitches. Now, since we don't have here any security for this thread, I will go back a little bit. We don't make any, we don't make knot at the end of the thread, because it's not allowed in this kind of work. So I will go back a little bit, and then again in the same direction. This way I will, my thread will not come out. So I took a long piece on purpose so that I will show you all those stitches. Okay, and now I will go back one more time. So I am at the same place right here. Okay, so now I will put my needle down, and I will use the hook. I will use the hook 0.45 millimeters. I don't know what hook was used here. I think 0.35, but it's easier for me to go behind this petal and behind the stitch where the stitch was made in the packing cord, right in here, and with the hook I will pick up this stitch. It's not easy to do. Here I will insert hook right into that loose stitch, and make sure to turn your hook. You cannot see the hook itself, but the hook where it's kind of catching the thread, turn it to the other side, and I will pull this stitch on the other side of work. Right here. Here's my stitch. Now you will get this needle again. Cut the needle. Here's your thread on the back, and move from back toward the stitch with your needle. Right here. like that. Since the thread is long, I can drop my needle, just put it on the table, and crochet the stitch like that. You can crochet just one time, stretch the stitch, and pick up this stitch with the needle. Pull thread through this stitch as you would close your work. Fixing mistakes can be longer than just crocheting the flower, honestly, but you have to fix it sometimes. So pull on it, and now your stitch is gone. The stretched stitch is fixed. Here it was. The same way you can pick up those two stitches. You can also pick up those stitches just with a needle without the hook. Let's try to do that. So I will go again where the packing cord is, inside the flower, helping with the pliers to move needle, and be careful that your thread will not tangle, which is very easy. Thread is so fine. So pull thread to the area where the stitch is, your troubled stitch right here. You can see it, here it is, and another one right in here. And what we will do, we will go from back inside where the stitch is, pull your thread with the needle on the right side, and now kind of go around that stretched stitch from back to front, sort of like scoop this thread with a thread of a stitch with the thread. So I had that done, and then go through the area, right, this opening on the back, and here the stitch was. So I pulled it with the thread on the back, pulled on it, and move it again to the front with this thread. You're basically moving this stitch with the thread out on the back. Always move them on the back, those stitches. Here it is. Here's one more spot, no stitch anymore. So you just picked it up with the thread. So you can use whatever you like. Both methods are very good. And with the hook or with the needle. And so here I have another stitch, very close. So here I am. I will go to the front with the needle in front of the stitch, pull thread to the front, and then with the needle so my thread is right in front of the stitch. So now I go back, pick up stitch with the needle like that, and pull this needle through, but at the same time now we're going on the back. making sure that your thread will not be in any way tangled anywhere. So here's the stitch. I'm not pulling yet. So I wrapped thread around that loose stitch. Here it is. And now I will pull on a thread really tight, and you see what happens. It takes the stitch away to the back of the flower, and you fix this way the stretched stitch. And you just secure the thread on the back by weaving back this thread inside where those tight stitches are, where you crocheted over the packing cord. Well, I like crochet over the packing cord because you can hide thread easily inside. So secure this way your thread, and all your stitches are saved, fixed, and you won't have any problems anymore. So this is how you fix it. And those stitches are here. Of course, it's not possible really to fix those stitches right here. They're loose, but I think when you will wash it and block the piece, those stitches will behave much better because of water. Your thread will shrink a little bit. So this is basically how you work with those stitches. Now, the thread you are working with have to be secured also, so that your stitches will not become loose again. So we will go in this direction with thread, now we go the opposite direction. Since it's cotton, you can do it only one time to secure your thread this way. I do it more than 2 times. One direction, then another direction. I do it like up to 3-4 times sometimes. Or just go around the center flower one time, make one round. Thread will never come out. This is what's good about the cotton thread. So I did it this direction, a little bit this way, and again back. So 3 times. This way your thread will stay secured inside the motif. And this is after that you can cut your thread. This is very important. Sometimes I see how other people are crocheting and how they deal with their ends. They just cut them next to the stitch without realizing that after wearing the piece, washing it, and whatever you will do with that, that thread actually will open the stitch and unravel your work. So it's very important to weave in the ends of thread. And so now you can cut your thread right here. And that's it. And all your stitches are fixed and ready to go.